Hey, did you hear the news? Aside from the presidential election? Yes, this kind of shocked a lot of people that Disney has officially bought Star Wars. Actually, that doesn't really surprise me at all. I mean, Disney is basically buying off every creative studio. They bought Marvel. Um, yeah, so wow, Disney is. I think Disney's becoming the evil empire right now. Don't you think? So yeah, I think there's a lot of mixed responses to this. Most sorry, not to the fact that Disney bought Star Wars, but the fact that there are going to be three more Star Wars movies. Yeah, episode 7, 8, and 9 are going to be made. It's confirmed. Or at least confirmed that 7 is going to be made. And I thought I'd offer my opinions, and I sort of have. Um, I can't really think of any positives to things to say, so let's. No, actually I do. I have some positives. So, give me a minute. This will be an interesting vlog. So, it's confirmed George Lucas will not be directing. Perfect already. Perfect. George, you did good with A New Hope. Um, you did good with Raiders of the Lost Ark, American Graffiti. You went downhill. I'm sorry. I'm glad we're getting a new director. Bad news is George Lucas will still be a creative consultant. I called that. I said I would bet anyone anything that George Lucas would be hired as creative consultant. And I read an article and they word for word creative consultant. And it now worries me because I'm thinking if he's going to add really lame plot developments, really ridiculous characters, like we might get a new Jar Jar Binks, and knowing Disney, we're gonna have some sort of comic relief. I'm hoping. It is doubtful, but I'm hoping we'll at least keep C-3PO and R2-D2. Maybe they'll just stay as comic relief. But I'm leading into this. So where do we go from here? Because I thought, to be honest, I don't really think that Star Wars needed, well, at least film wise, it needed any sequels. I thought the original trilogy was great, even if you include the prequel trilogy, which I don't really like, but I guess I'll take it. If you include the prequel and the original trilogy, it's a complete story. And yes, there are other stories. I know that there are comic books and regular books out there and games that expand upon the Star Wars mythology, and I accept those. But in terms of film, I think there was nowhere else Star Wars could go. So you would have to create a completely new story, sort of like branching out into a new. What's the best analogy I could use? It's sort of like you're taking a. I can't come up with an analogy. The closest thing for some. This is the stupidest analogy I could come up with, but it's like what they did with Jimmy Neutron when they stopped doing the Jimmy Neutron cartoons and they focused on Sheen. That doesn't even make sense as an analogy, but for some reason that's what's coming into my head. Or it's similar to, I guess, how they're trying to do, how in the Halloween franchise, at 3 they started a new kind of series, so maybe they're going to do something like that, where they're going to start a new chain of events, focusing on different characters, different stories. I have messed up analogies, I'm sorry, but I don't see where we could go from here. What I'm hoping for is that we have a new story, new characters, just stuff like that. I'm hoping for that. But from what I understand, Harrison Ford has expressed interest in returning to the role of Han Solo, which I I don't really think he should, because I'll tell you why. Sorry, but Harrison, this is I'm gonna sound like a jackass for saying this, but you're too old now. It was kind of cool when we saw he was Indiana Jones, despite the fact that that movie sucked. But you're too old, Harrison. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I would still be happy to see him in there, but I just don't think it would work. if you have Harrison and you don't have Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and everything, if you had everyone else, it'd be okay. But it'd be really great for me at least. It was like a reunion, something like a reunion spoof, and you had all of them just lying around, sort of like in the Christmas special. They're all hanging out at Chewie's place, just sitting around. They're older and everything, and like, the gross up night, you'd have Carrie Fisher now in the metal bikini. Ugh. So I don't know. I think of messed up things. I'm sorry, but yeah, Harrison Ford expressed interest. But the thing that concerns me, and I would like you guys to explain this to me and how they're going and what you guys think, because from what I understand, I have barely read any of these. The universe did continue. The Star Wars universe continued after Return of the Jedi, in between movies also. But like there were stories like Han and Leia got married. They had 3 kids. I know. I think one of the kids was Anakin. Um, Luke got married at one point. Chewie died. I never and Palpatine even came back. So are these films going to mess up the continuity? Are we gonna have to ignore these new? Are we gonna not new? Are we gonna have to ignore these books that people have now owned and read? Are we gonna ignore that in favor of a new continuity? Like, are we gonna ignore stuff? I'm repeating what I'm saying, and so even though I haven't read anything, that's gonna concern me if they're gonna just ignore all the stuff that's already been established. Like, I think what happens is Luke rebuilds the Jedi Order. Leia eventually becomes a Jedi, and there's a new Republic and everything. But eventually, another galactic war comes out. And by the way, how does that work? Like the whole prophecy of Darth Vader bringing balance to the Force, only for Sith Lords to come back years and years later. How does that make any screw it. Someone correct me on that. Someone, please do. I really want an answer. I'm not the biggest Star Wars. I like the movies, but I'm not a big Star Wars nerd, so I don't know much about it. So if anyone knows the answer, please explain that to me. But I think I'll end right here with the fact that I'm not sure if Disney is even capable of making a Star Wars movie. They're good at making family movies, and I'm trying to think of the darkest Disney movie that I have ever seen. Something that is really. Because Star Wars isn't always just goofy humor and stuff. It gets serious at times. So I'm trying to think of the closest thing I can compare Star Wars and a Disney movie to. Um, Shoot, I don't know. Probably the closest thing I can think of is that one version of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea that Disney did years and years ago. That's the closest thing I think Disney has ever come to making something as I don't know how to describe it. That they're just similar in tone, I guess you could say. So I'm not sure if Disney has what it takes, if it's going to rely on cheap laughs, if it's going to rely on poo humor like the first movie did. Yeah, Jar Jar stepping in poo. Funny. And I'm wondering, are we going to have a whole bunch of CGI again? Are we going to actually see practical effects, which I'm begging Disney. I'm begging, if anyone, I doubt it, anyone who works at Disney is watching this video, I implore you to advise whoever the director is going to be, to use practical effects. I'm sure no one from Disney is watching this. They've got better things to do, and frankly, I do not. So, there's my input. I'm probably going to be a little reluctant to go see the movies because the prequels left me a little bit empty, and I didn't really want to see what would happen to Star Wars after this. I will probably see it I'll be reluctant, but I will see it in theaters. I think it's 2015 it's coming out. I'll see Avengers 2 first. Thank you very much. See what I did there? Quoted Cinema Snob. Love that guy. So, um, all I can say is I have a bad feeling about this. Talk to you guys later. Halloween review is gonna come soon.